guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I will be reviewing the Laser Focus theme deck. As of the moment, this is my second favorite theme deck to play, excluding one that I will show you guys in the future, but this is one of my favorites. Anyways, let's get on to what's inside this deck and why I like it so much. Starting off the deck is 2 Necrozma. You got 130 HP, so you're decently tanky enough. I would like 140, but in the Lightning Loop video I was complaining about it not being 130, so it's fine. For 2 Colorless Energy, you do 30 damage with Barrier Attack. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 3 or less damage. And it's a very good way to tank until you get Special Laser out. Special Laser does 100 damage, and if this Pokemon has any special energy attached to it, it does 100 more. Now, it's very good because you have a special energy in this deck. Weakness Guard energy. Anyways, that's about it for these Necrozmas. I'll go over Weakness Guard energy later. But, yeah, this is like the boss Pokemon in the deck. You want to use it a lot. And if you're able to get this out, then you're really in a good spot. Next up is 2 Malamar. The ability Psychic Recharge. Once during your turn before you attack, you may attach a Psychic Energy card from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. This actually makes your retreating somewhat useful, as you can get the energy back and put it onto something like a Necrozma or any of your other attackers. Psychic Spear for 2 Psychic Energy and 1 Colorless does 60 damage, however you don't want to use it. Malamar's actually pretty good. It's good and expanded. It was good in standard before it got rotated. It's going to be good in every format, so having this type of energy acceleration is pretty good. Next up is 2 NK. For 1 Psychic Energy, gives the attack Hypnosis, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. It's good for early game disruption, however, that's about it. Next up is 2 Savali. For 2 Colorless Energy, you do 30 damage, and this attack does 50 more damage for each prize card your opponent took on their last turn. You're only going to do about 80, maybe 130 on some decks with bench damage. However, that's about it. Air Slash for 120 for 3 Colorless, with discarding energy from this Pokemon. It really wants you to put 4 energy on it. However, you just put 3 on it and you'll be fine as long as it survives. Overall, Savali's a pretty decent attacker. Next up is Free Type Null. It has 100 HP for a basic non-legendary Pokemon, so it's decently tanky. For 1 energy, you do 20 damage, and for 2 energy, you do 30 damage and you flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 30 more damage, so you do 60 damage, and for a decent attack early game, I actually think this attack's decently good. Overall, Type Null's just good overall. It's definitely worse than Savali by, hey, it's a good early attacker overall. Next up is 2 Gumshoes. For 2 Colorless Energy, do 90 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon GX or Pokemon EX, this attack's base damage is 30. This is pretty trash in standard or expanded format. It's an expanded now. But in the theme deck format, Gumshoes is pretty good. That's about it. I just really like this Gumshoes. Next up is 3 Yungoos, and for 2 Colorless Energy, you do 30 damage. That's about it. It's just an okay early game attacker. Next up is Tauros. For 1 Colorless Energy, you search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it onto your bench, and shuffle your deck. And for 2 energy, you do 60 damage and you do 10 damage to yourself. Overall, it's a decent early game attacker and a pretty good staller as well. It's also a really good search, so Tauros is decent enough and I like it a lot. Alright, next up is 2 Ondino. The ability Hearing, once during your turn before you attack, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, you may draw a card. Overall, it's pretty good. If you can switch an Ondino into an Ondino, you can draw 2 cards. If you're a Psychopath, that is, but overall, Ondino's pretty good. Its second attack doesn't matter too much, however, it could be a good stall. Overall, Ondino's a really good draw support and a really good early game start. Next up is 2 Mespirit. First contact for 1 second energy, you search your deck for up to 3 basic Pokemon, put them onto your bench, and shuffle your deck. It's a really good start if you don't have any basic Pokemon on your bench, or if this is your only starting Pokemon. And Mumble for 20 damage is there. Overall, Mespirit's just alright. Next up is Dedenne, and for 1 cardless energy, you may draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand, and you do 20 damage. Overall, it's just a decent early game, and that's about it. Next up is 2 Cynthia. You shuffle your hand into your deck, then you draw 6 cards. Pretty much all of my other Pokemon deck reviews, I've always said Cynthia was good, so Cynthias are really good. If you got a bad hand, Cynthia. Next up is 2 Lily. Draw cards if you have 6 cards in your hand. It's your first turn, draw cards if you have 8 in your hand. Pretty much in my Lightning Loop and Battle Mind game deck review, this card was good before the Sword and Shield expansion came out. Now you can't play this card on the first turn. Or the person goes first. If it's second, then you basically just have a field day. But yeah, that's about it. Next up is Bug Catcher. Draw 2 cards, flip a coin. If heads, draw 2 more cards. It's a pretty good draw if you get heads. It's kind of bad if you don't. Overall, Bug Catcher's alright, and it's definitely good if used well. Next up is Tin and Liza. You can choose one. Shuffle your hand into your deck, and draw 5 cards. And switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Overall, Tin and Liza's pretty situational. I mostly go with the first option, however, if you have to go with the second option, definitely go do it. Overall, Tin and Liza's just a pretty good supporter card overall. Next up is 2 Pokemon Fan Club. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Pokemon Fan Club's always a good supporter, but it's decent. Next up is 2 How. Draw 3 cards. That's it. Overall, How's just basic. Next up is 2 Mysterious Treasure. Discard a card from your hand. If you do, search your deck for a Psychic or Dragon Pokemon. Reveal it and put it into your hand. And shuffle your deck. You're only going to get Psychic Pokemon, but Mysterious Treasure is pretty good. Overall, just use Mysterious Treasure whenever you need it, and it combos decently well with Elmar, actually, which is pretty nice. Next up is 2 U-Turn Board. Your retreat. Next up is 2 U-Turn Board. U-Turn Board. The retreat cost of this Pokemon this card is attached to. If this card is discarded from play, put it into your hand instead of the discard pile. Now, it's 1 cardless energy less, so it's not the best thing. However, if you have like a 3 or 2 retreat cost Pokemon, you can have a field day with this. U-Turn Board's overall just pretty good. This deck plays 1 switch, which is pretty weird, but switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. It's always a good save. First is 18. Yes, 18 Psychic Energy. It just powers up the rest of the deck. Now to the side, we got Weakness Card Energy. This card provides a cardless energy, and the Pokemon this card is attached to has no weakness. This obviously combos with Necrozma, and it manages to do the 160. In my opinion, before we move on to the other technical stuff, Laser Focus is the deck that keeps other theme decks in check. If the deck can beat Laser Focus, it's good. If it can't, it's bad. Overall, Laser Focus is just probably one of the most balanced decks in the theme deck format, and probably one of my most favorite to play. Overall, Laser Focus is just decent. Overall, the best card in a Laser Focus theme deck is Necrozma. It's just pretty good. It's a little situational, but it's pretty good. The worst card in this deck is Dedenne. There's better draw support, and there's Audino, so Dedenne's kind of pointless in this deck. Dedenne's more of a filler than anything else, to be honest. Well, I'm talking about the early, mid, and late game a lot of my videos, so I may as well explain how to play Laser Focus. I'll try to remain as factual as possible. Some of the information may be based on my opinions, but I'll try to be as factual as I can. Suppose you don't get a bad shaft by Mespirit. You want to start with MK for Energy Acceleration, Type No for damage, Young Goose for damage, and Audino for draw. Your early game is going to be pretty basic. The cards that you want to use for the mid and late game are Necrozma for damage, Melamar for Energy Acceleration, Savella and Gumshoes for damage. Your mid to late game, if you can set it up well, is overall just pretty good, to be honest. If Laser Focus can get going, it just wins. here are the pros and cons of this theme deck. The pros are you got decent enough damage. I wish the damage was a little more, but you got good damage. You have good energy acceleration. You got good draws. You got good search, and you got good draw support. Overall, just this deck has pretty good of everything. The cons are you don't have too many damage options other than the Necrozma and Savali. You don't really have too many ways to get some Pokemon out. And you always have like 3 or 4 energy costs for all your main attackers, except for Gumshoes, but there's pretty low damage. Overall, it's just the cons of this deck suck. The pros are great, but the cons suck. Here's what the score and grade mean. A score of 1 means that it's all cons, no pros. A 10 means all pros, no cons. Now, for the grade, F means unplayable, S means perfect. No theme deck's gonna be a master, but, you know, yeah, take a try. What do I give this deck? In terms of a score, overall, I give it an 8. It's pretty average like any other theme deck, and I would give it a 9, but a 9 is way too nice. What do I give it in terms of a grade? A B+. I was gonna give it an A-, but before recording this video, I checked on Lizard Focus, and it wasn't the great meta counter that I thought it was. It's a really good meta counter, but it's just not the best theme deck in the world. This is the full deck list. There's a lot of cards, so I actually have to move back to show you all the cards. But overall, these are all the cards. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.